Hi Jared, how are you? Um, I will be discussing The Cycle of Socialization by Bobby Haru. And the thesis of this chapter is to suggest ways to interrupt this socialization cycle that we were born in and that is continuing in order to take charge of our own lives. And so, with this, I will be talking about the cycle that we're born in. In the article states, we are born into a specific social identity where there is unequal, unbalanced roles. And so socialization happens before we're even born, meaning we have no choice on gender, religion, race, disability, everything is basically naturally selected for us. And so with this, we don't question our identities. We just live with who we are. However, there's no reason for us to feel guilty or responsible for the way in which we were born or upbringings taught by our parents, because we were born into an already established system. Everything was here before we got here, and so the way in which we live our lives is just a continuous system for us to continue living the lives that were here before us. The way in which we were taught things, we continue that. And so what this chapter does, it suggests ways of interrupting that socialization system in order to take charge of our own lives. And so now we talk about identities that live easier than people of color, like white people, more so white males that are heterosexual, may live easier than communities of color. And so now we live in a society where we have to continue this repeated cycle of those who hold the most power. And so now we continue the cycle of people who hold the most power than the people of communities of color. For example, what I read in the article to kind of describe those two differences between white people and communities of color, stated in the article, white people can commit the same crimes as black people. However, they are less likely to be convicted or sentenced than people of color. And so there you see a gap. You see that unequal right, or that unequal way of living between the two. And this kind of talks about or goes back to that socialization cycle of how years ago you would see this, and today we have the same cycle repeating itself. Basically, history is repeating itself. So with this, we can see who has the privilege and who doesn't. And now we know the difference between those in power and those who don't have the power, and the people in which who have the power can be known as agent groups, and the people who don't have a lot of the power can be known as target groups. And those people are more so people of color, such as black people, Hispanics, and even subordinate groups. Bobby writes, and I quote, "We might say it's been that way for hundreds of years, but what can we do to change the cycle?" And so with this, he states, we can direct for change by allowing the person who holds the most power to present change in order to break the cycle that we live in, or that we have been living in for generations and hundreds of years. And so with this, we should be able to learn more about how to unlearn those myths being taught for hundreds of years. We need to educate all groups and break down that established system that has been built for us in order to create a new one. Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch my video, and have a good day.